So you've heard all the buzz about AI in dentistry, right? More efficiency, less paperwork, the whole 9 yards. But let's get real for a second. In a busy practice, bringing in new tech isn't just about the promise, it's about the practicalities. Today, we're going to cut through the hype and tackle the real-world barriers you're actually facing when you think about bringing AI into your clinic.
So, what is it? A revolution or a risk? Well, the truth is it's both. The potential for efficiency is absolutely huge, but so are the concerns about patient safety, about liability. The secret isn't to run from the risk, but to manage it. And we're going to walk through a really simple framework to do just that.
Okay, let's start with the big one, clinical risk. The thought of an AI making a mistake that could actually harm a patient, that's a serious and frankly, a completely valid fear. And this is exactly why your clinical judgment is and will always be the most important piece of this puzzle.
So how do you navigate this? It's not with blind trust, and it's definitely not with blind rejection. You use a simple checklist. Think of this AI decision framework as your pre-flight check before you take off. It makes sure that for every single clinical decision, you are firmly in the pilot's seat.
Here they are, the 4 questions that are basically your safeguard. First up, does this task require my unique clinical judgment? AI can organize your findings, but it can't perform the evaluation. Second, could an AI error, a so-called hallucination, cause patient harm? If it suggests an intervention you didn't personally choose, that's a hard stop. Third, and this is a big one for our own growth, am I just using AI to avoid learning something I really should know? It's a tool, not a crutch for your expertise. And finally, would I be comfortable defending this in court? If you hesitate on any of these, that task is not for AI. It's really that simple.
This all boils down to one key principle. Is the AI your assistant, or is it trying to be your replacement? Think of it like a brilliant, lightning-fast typist, not as your brain. You handle the diagnosis, the evaluation, the treatment plan. The AI handles the documentation of what you decided. That's the green light. That's the clear line between safe assistance and, well, dangerous replacement.
Okay, so once you've figured out how to use it safely in a clinical sense, you step into the legal labyrinth. And the biggest challenge here, you guessed it, patient privacy and HIPAA. Using a cloud-based AI with patient data can feel like you're walking a tightrope, and you are if you don't know the rules. But thankfully, there are some really clear rules to follow. Rule number 1, and this is the most important one for your daily use, de-identify all patient information in your prompts. We'll look at an example in just a sec. Second, try to stick with paid AI tools that let you opt out of having your data used for training. And third, if you're doing a big clinic-wide rollout, a business associate agreement is non-negotiable. But for your day-to-day, that first rule is absolutely critical.
And here's what that looks like in practice. The prompt on the left, that's a textbook HIPAA violation. But the one on the right is both totally safe and just as effective. See how it gives all the necessary clinical context, age, gender, diagnosis, without sharing a single piece of protected health information? This is the gold standard you should be aiming for every single time.
And what happens if a patient asks you about using AI? Be transparent. This is a perfect, simple explanation. You can say something just like this. It frames AI as an efficiency tool, just like spell check. It reassures them that you, the clinician, are always the final authority, reviewing and approving every single detail of their care. And that brings us to the crucial point of liability. Let's be crystal clear here. The AI company is not on the hook for errors. You are. The legal standard of care rests on your professional judgment. So at the end of the day, you are 100% accountable for everything that goes into a patient's chart with your name on it. All right, so even if you get the clinical and legal pieces all sorted out, you can still smack right into another huge hurdle, your own team. Bringing in new technology often hits a human wall of skepticism and resistance, and believe me, AI is no exception.
You've probably heard this one, right? This is the fear that comes up most often, that AI is a threat to our jobs. And it's a genuine concern about what our professional skills are worth in a world that's getting more automated. The key isn't to just dismiss this fear, but to completely reframe the conversation.
Look, an AI can't perform a root canal, it can't build that crucial rapport with the patient, and it can't apply nuanced clinical reasoning. What it can do is obliterate the hours we spend on administrative junk. By offloading that burden, AI frees us up to focus on the high-value, hands-on work we were actually trained for. It makes us more valuable, not less.
And then there's the other big point of resistance, burnout. Your colleagues are already swamped. The very idea of having to learn another new piece of technology can just feel exhausting. The key here is to present a value proposition that is just too good to ignore.
And here's the pitch. You're not asking for weeks of training. You're asking for a 30-minute investment. Sit with a colleague for just 2 patient notes. In return for that half hour, they get back 5, maybe even more, hours every single week. Ask them, what would you do with an extra 5 hours a week? That's more time with family, not with paperwork. When you frame it as an investment in their personal life, it becomes a really powerful motivator.
And please, don't try to roll this out all at once. Start small. Use it yourself for 2 weeks. Track your time savings. Then, find 1 or 2 of your more tech-friendly allies to join you. Once you have a couple of success stories, offer a voluntary lunch and learn demo for the whole clinic. This phased approach builds momentum by pulling people in, not by pushing change on them.
So once you've navigated the clinical, the legal, and the human barriers, you can start using AI as a real strategic tool. This is where you go beyond just being efficient and start racking up some significant wins for your practice and for your patients. And a perfect example of this is fighting insurance denials.
I mean, just look at the impact here. It is significant. Manually written appeals often have a success rate that's, well, less than a coin flip, below 50%. But when you use AI to build a solid evidence-based case, that success rate can jump all the way up to 75%. That's not just an efficiency gain. That is a powerful tool for patient advocacy.
And the process is simple and totally repeatable. First, you use AI to research and summarize supporting evidence. Second, you have it document your patient's progress in a clear, structured table. And third, you prompt it to write a formal appeal letter that weaves all that information together. Suddenly, you're not just making an argument, you're presenting an evidence-backed case that is really, really hard to deny.
So, whether the barrier you're worried about is clinical, legal, or human, there is a clear path forward. By using a structured, thoughtful approach, you can transform AI from a source of anxiety into an incredibly powerful tool for your practice. And that is how you build a bridge from the challenges of today to a much more efficient and effective practice of tomorrow.